Okay, so I'm here with John Fryer
That's right.
of the Stratus Corporation Technologies. And John, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Stratus?
Okay, so Stratus is really an edge computing vendor, and we've been around for about 40 years. Our real claim to fame is that we make platforms that don't fail. They're fault-tolerant platforms. So a lot of our original business is in like financial services. We probably process about 70% of the world's credit card transactions, for example. So any industry where downtime is a bad thing, that's kind of where you find Stratus. So as I said, transaction processing, public safety, and industrial automation is kind of our focus these days. It's our fastest growing business. With the whole transition around digital transformation, edge computing, that's really where our emphasis is these days. My role as sort of industry solutions is really, part marketing, part product management, spend quite a bit of time with product strategy or company strategies to where we go next, and also helping out the sales guys as and where it's appropriate to do that. Obviously we're here at the ARC conference this week. We've got a couple of our customers here this week. One of them, Buckeye Partners. So I'm sure down in Houston, it's a name that people know well, the terminal business. They use Stratus edge computing devices, primarily to run their terminal operations. And I think what attracted them to Stratus is that we have an edge computing device that's simple to operate, protected in multiple ways physically, stops tampering, cybersecurity, and protected in terms of offering integrated redundancy and failover capabilities, although that's not really something that they're sort of using that much these days. And also it'll run autonomously. All the Stratus systems are self-diagnosing in terms of their internal compute capabilities and the operating environments, but also can monitor what's going on with all the applications in the stack, and can let somebody know if they think there's a problem or they think there's a problem with the platform, so they can proactively do something about it rather than waiting for things to fail and having unplanned downtime.
Well, what you may have covered this already, but what kind of new things you got going on as far as delivering products to the market?
Right. So our original main product line was a 19-inch rack mount servers, fault tolerant capability. Kinds of things that we've delivered for many years into a lot of these industries. They get used a lot in the sort of control room environments, maybe for a plant, maybe for an oil refinery. We do a lot of sort of compression, pumping stations down there. But we've started to realize with digital transformation that compute technology is moving much closer to the plant floor, much closer to the source. ZTC zero-touch computing, edge computing platforms are really what we're focusing on these days. That's a relatively new line for us. We introduced it about 18 months ago. We've got sort of 2 models already in the market. There's a third one that's coming out shortly. So each new model is a combination of hardware platform we deliver, but also a lot of new software capabilities. So in the latest generation that we've got coming out soon, one of the issues customers like Buckeye, for example, of these ZTC devices, they need simple ways to manage them. All right. And our focus has always been to make life very, very easy for the operational technology people. All right. So there's this whole sort of convergence of IT and OT that you hear about. And it's really something that's happening in the industry. I mean, most of our customers now, we go in, we talk to the OT people, they like the platforms that we've got, they then have to bring in the IT people, if for no other reason than cybersecurity and connectivity across the enterprise and going up to the cloud and other capabilities like that. So we've added, or we're constantly adding features that make life, one, easy for the operational technology guys to use. So that goes back to our theme of simple, protected, and autonomous, but also are quite acceptable and can easily be managed by the IT guys. So for example, in the case of Buckeye, it was their applications group who wanted to bring in the ZTC platform. And our main sort of champion there had to go to another 6 groups within the company to get that platform approved. Ranging from the networking people, the security people, the infrastructure people, desktop client people, and of course the end users down in the plants as well. So it's not as simple as just going and selling a platform these days. It's basically convincing multiple groups that this is the right solution, to address the kinds of things they're trying to do or to solve the kinds of problems that they've got.
Well, being from Houston, energy is really important to us in that town. And so, what kind of strategies do you have in place for addressing the energy industry?
Okay, it's a good question. So, by the very nature of what we do and the sort of fault-tolerant capabilities that we've got, the process industries in general, if you like, are really where we tend to do this. They're 24/7 by 365. All right, when it comes down to it. So a lot of our focus is around midstream operations. We've done very, very well there. Lots of locations where you need compute technology these days, compression stations, pumping stations, storage facilities, etc., where downtime can be a bad thing. We can help prevent that. With the service capabilities that we've got, we can make it very, very simple to replace everything. So you don't need a lot of IT involvement. A lot of these facilities are in remote locations. Right? They're not easy to get to. So we solve a lot of problems with the capabilities we've got there. So we've got some pretty large customers in the midstream space. In terms of that, we're expanding that now, focusing some more on some of the downstream side, on the upstream side. We've got capabilities on the shipping side. All right, the transportation of oil and gas and that. But I'd say at the moment our main focus is really in and around the midstream space. That seems to be a fairly sweet spot again for the sort of edge computing, smaller edge computing devices that we've got these days.
Yeah, that makes sense, being that the midstream is really the bottleneck, I think, of the oil industry right now.
Very much so.
There should be a lot of growth opportunities there.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us.
Okay,
I think
you very
we
much.
got enough. Thank you.